part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
This 2023 NBA Season Tipoff episode of Cavs on the Break NBA Podcast is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. And even though this is an NBA podcast, we know Cleveland loves its Browns and the NFL. And the NFL season is going strong, let me tell you. And the DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking new customers up with an offer that's even stronger. If you bet $5 on any game this week, you can score $200 instantly in bonus bets. That's right. Bet $5 for the first time on any game this week, and you can score $200 instantly in bonus bets. And DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers can take advantage of a sweetener offer every game this October. I'm talking about same game parlays, single plays like yardage over unders, who scores first, and even team bets. I like personally throwing in a couple money line parlays together and see what hits. Get on the game day greatness today by downloading the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code P3Cavs for that sweet, sweet $200 instant bonus bets with a $5 bet. Again, that's P3Cavs to activate that $200 instantly in bonus bets for new customers only when you bet $5 on the NFL. That's code P3Cavs only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available. If you have a problem gambling, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccp.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas City. Licensed partner, Golden Nugget Lake, Charles, Louisiana. 21 age and over varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after assurance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources apply.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
What's good, breakers? That sound means it's time for Cavs on the Break NBA podcast presented by DraftKings, part of the Press Play Podcast Network. I am your host, Chase Smith, and with me, he's the NBA writer at hoopswire.com. He's our Cavs insider, national NBA writer, Sam Amico. Sam, what's up, man? It's time. The Cavs on the Break podcast is back, baby.
Oh, I couldn't feel better about that. To see
man.
you and John, it's very exciting.
So exciting. Also with us tonight and all season long, John Sabol. He's sports over at Fox 8. He's the host of Sabol Brothers on the Baseline right here on the Press Play Podcast Network. John, start off the season with the win. What's up, baby?
What's good? Opening night victory against Brooklyn. Hey, guys, that was one heck of a game. I enjoyed it immensely, as
It really
I know you
was.
both did.
We're going to talk all about this game. Look, the NBA is back. Sam is back on the beat. Sabol's back on my screen here on the computer. And the Cavs are back with an opening night victory over the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn, 114-113. Sam, your initial hot off the press thoughts for this opening night victory for the Cavs?
Well, to sum it up, I think that as great as Donovan Mitchell was at the end, it really was a team win. And to me, that was impressive from that aspect. You know, I thought that they did, not everybody had a great night, but I thought that they really did it as a team, especially defensively, which says a lot without Jared Allen, who's kind of their anchor, he and Mobley. But without Jared Allen, I just thought that their defense was good. Obviously, the addition of Max Strus is, paid dividends right away, not just from three-pointers, which were huge, but he also had 12 rebounds. So, I think that was all the way around a really nice addition. We saw it real quick. So I just think that, yes, Donovan Mitchell saved the day, but other than that, it really was a team-wide win.
All right, John, what are your initial reactions from this game one road victory for the Cavs?
I think the Max Strus signing is just paying off right here, right now. I mean, that is the wing that this team has been looking for a long time now. And you got to see what he could do in the first game as a Cavalier. dropping 27 points. I mean, he was just on fire from beyond the arc tonight against the Nets in a game where, I don't know, did anybody pick Max Strus to be one of the leading scorers of this team tonight? Because I sure didn't. I'm just kind of blown away in terms of his style of play a little bit. We saw that with Miami, but I think the way that this offense is run through with Garland and Mitchell only just magnifies Strus's skill set and talents, and he can really thrive in this. And that's the biggest thing that I'm taking away from this game is just his impact on this team. And yeah, it's one game, but I'm really, really curious to see his development with this club moving forward.
I totally believe Kobe in the front office saw the spacing he had in Miami and said, we can give him even more spacing with Garland, with Spider, and our bigs. I mean, and we saw that tonight. And I think we're going to talk about that throughout the episode, but that was so evident, much needed. And I think it helped all around. Here's my initial takeaway. The Cavs can play better. Like, this wasn't their firing on all cylinders. I know it's game one. I get it. I know. But I see this game and look, the Cavs can play better. The Nets probably not, right? This is, I feel like, okay, maybe some of the Cam Johnson points will go to Bridges or whatever, but I feel like this is the Nets ceiling. This is the Nets cap. This is what you're going to get from the Nets. The Cavs can play better. And that has me excited for the rest of the season. John, you were looking up, kind of thinking about that statement. How does that land with you?
Well, it's funny, Chase, as you were saying that, I was looking at the box score, and you're right. I mean, this is the first game, but the Cavs did not shoot the ball particularly well tonight, with the exception of Max Strus. Donovan Mitchell didn't play very well. I think his 27 points that were tied with Max was a quiet 27, despite having a game-winning shot. But this is the first game of the year, so you're not going to have guys that are going to have great shooting nights. It's kind of expected. So to your point, yeah, I mean, they could play a lot better, they could shoot a lot better, and they will. The other thing too, if you think about this game, this game really, even with the Cavs kind of inconsistent shooting, I mean, Cam Thomas for Brooklyn had 36 points off the bench.
Yeah, off the bench. Yeah.
No one in their right mind knew
it was about 40.
Knew who he was, let alone picked him to even score or have double figures. And this guy's in his second year in the league. Averages what, or was his third year in the league now? A career average of like 9.5 points a game. So you take that 36 points away, and let's say he doesn't go off. The Nets didn't shoot the ball they shot the ball better, but this game wouldn't be that close.
Wait, so you're telling me we're starting off this season of Caps on the Break with you agreeing with my first take, Sabol?
Yes, I can't believe that's the first time ever, Sam. Sam, you hearing that? That's
Sam,
nuts.
And I think Sam's going to agree.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to start this season with the take that you guys are going to be like, Chase, you're right. Sam, the Cavs can play better.
I'm stunned that I agree with you, but I do. I think
let's
that
go.
they surely can. I mean,
Let
Karis
him know,
LeVert,
Chase. Let him know.
4 of 17, right? For Karis LeVert. He's not going to do that a lot, I wouldn't think. And I certainly think Mobley was very quiet. And I agree with John.
Come on, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, and I agree with John that Donovan Mitchell, I sat there thinking, yeah, he's having a quiet night until that last minute and a half when he got the steal and the dunk and then hit the game winner. He really kind of just stayed within the flow of the offense, didn't force too much, and thought, yeah, he's having a quiet night. He's going to be much more explosive than that as the season goes on. Same thing with Garland. Garland finished with 15 points. He had his moments, but it was more or less just kind of, again, 6 turnovers. Got to do something about that. But I thought overall they did well enough to win on the road. And I thought for 44 of the 48 minutes, they deserved to win this game. Yeah. So it's nice that they did come away with a win. And the fact that they went in, you're right. Brooklyn probably hit their ceiling. This is as good as they're probably going to get. Bridges and Cam Johnson will probably be better, but Cam Thomas probably isn't going to be this good. I mean, if I had told you guys 3 years ago that Cam Thomas would be a better pro than Ben Simmons, you would have thrown me off the podcast. But
Never.
That's the truth. He's a better player. Ben Simmons looks the same to me.
Cavs would not be on the break without Sam Amico. Cavs might be along the perimeter or, standing at the box of the baseline, but not on the break without Sam Amico.
I got you. Okay.
What's crazy, Sam, what's crazy about that is they both went to LSU.
Yeah. Yeah. And Cam Thomas was not really highly recruited out of high school, and Ben Simmons was. And, I think going back to the Cavs, though, forget Ben Simmons for a second, or even Cam Thomas, the fact that they defended Cam Johnson and Bridges as well as they did for the majority of the night kept those two guys really in check. I mean, Bridges only took 12 shots. Cam Johnson, I think, had 12 points. So if you had told me that would be the case with those two guys, because those two guys are the heart and soul of the Nets, and the Cavs really, for the most part, took those guys out of the game.
Yeah. Sam, I got to give you – go ahead, John.
I was just going to say one other thing, Sam, you're looking at that game. Of course, Ben Simmons had an awful game again.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, you feel bad for him because he really said a lot of things before the season that he feels like he's back and he feels 100% healthy, and he really he came out and had another clunker. So, I mean, good for the Cavs, but I do feel bad for the guy. He's probably done in terms of being a all-star level player.
Yeah,
Yep.
4 points in 23 minutes. Yikes. Go ahead, Chase.
He had a double-double, though. I think rebounds and assists, right? 11 and 11.
He was assist shy of a double-double.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep.
Sam, I got to give props to Hoopswire, man. Coming through with the dribbles at halftime. You tweeted about it. You don't want to set that precedent, but you got to give the people what they want, man. Jalen Rose, got to give the people what they want. And you had some great dribbles up post the game. And you did mention how this was a team defensive effort, especially down the stretch against maybe a potential playoff team. I don't think the Nets are going to, make any noise, but they might be the 10, 9, 8, somewhere around there, 7, that, going to be a tough out. And the Cavs were able to pull out a win there. Sam, John and I was talking before you came on, and we loved the smaller lineup of Garland, Strus, Spida, Okoro, and Mobley. Is that something you'd been seeing at practice when you've been kind of scouting out on the beat, Amico on the beat?
No, that's not something. It came as a surprise when they started Okoro tonight.
Obviously, I love that he's going for that all defensive team. He told us.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, he had the heck of it was his best opener of his career. 18 points. Really had a role there in shutting down. I don't want to say shutting down, but making Bridges' life very difficult.
Yeah.
And did a really nice job finishing. He hit a couple corner threes that people have been saying you got to be able to make those. He did everything that people said he needs to do. Isaac Okoro tonight when he started. No, surprised that they went with that smaller lineup without Allen, but Okoro delivered, and again. You're not expecting to get 12 rebounds from a 6'4" guard in Max Strus. So I think that they really helped replace the loss of Allen and that presence down low just by being scrappy.
John, what made this small ball lineup different than other small ball that they've tried in the past?
Well, I think it's the addition of Strus, not to kind of, continue to belabor that point. I mean, he's a wing. He's a wing that can shoot. We haven't had that in a long time. Okoro, it was trying to be molded in that player, and the jury's still out if he will be that player. I don't think he will, but at nights like this tonight, you don't need him to be if he's still going to be suffocating on defense and giving it 110% on the defensive end, and also still being a scrappy player. Having Strus there actually not only just fits in with the system, but really fits in with the Okoro. I think that takes a ton of pressure. I know this is just game one, guys, but it takes a ton of pressure to put those offensive, pressure for Okoro to perform off of his shoulders, where he can do what he does best, and that's defend the ball in the wing. And I would like to think that made him more relaxed, which has helped his game offensively. Tonight. And, Sam has seen it at practice and we've seen it in the preseason. He has really tried hard. We've talked with him at media day. He has tried hard and worked really, quite a bit on his offensive game and his shooting. We'll see if he can continue to do that. And, it pays dividends, but Having that small lineup tonight worked out really well. And, I don't know how often they'll do it. I know Allen's out, but, if that could be a nice little, solid move on JB if they have run into any issues down the road to switch things up once Allen comes back.
I love it. I think you nailed it, man. And here are the two words I had in my notes from that lineup: complementary pieces, right? Everyone in that small ball, they knew their role, they knew what they had to do, and they did it. Garland, facilitator, right? Spider, hey, I'm going to do what I can to get the ball in the hoop. Strus, hey, I know what I'm going to be on the perimeter and I'm going to make buckets. Okoro, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to play D and, be in the corner, hit that and slash to the basket. Mobley, I know what I'm going to do. So it's just, they're complementary pieces. And I think it's like complementary to the max, right? And I love that lineup. Sam, is Allen really going to come in and kind of take us? Did the Cavs maybe discover something here? Just very similar to last year at the start of the season where they realized, oh, this is Spider's team because of Garland's injury. Did they kind of stumble upon maybe this is – I see this 5 as like a playoff crunch time 5. I don't see Allen in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, here's the thing that I'm not disagreeing with you. So we haven't started that yet, but I think that, they got beat on the boards pretty bad. It ended up like 37-29, but they were getting pushed around inside. You're going to need Allen for that. He's certainly going to, otherwise you're going to kill Mobley just having him fight against all these big guys alone all the time.
Give him a break every now and then.
I think, yeah, and I think that kind of slowed Mobley a little bit on offense because he was so focused defensively on trying to stop people really by himself. You're used to having 2 shot blockers in there. So, but I think, yes, absolutely. We could see this lineup time and again with Okoro in there or LeVert or both, just depending on the matchups and the situation. As long as they're rebounding the ball okay, which they survived tonight. They weren't terrible, but you're going to need Allen just for the defensive purposes and for the purposes of doing the intangibles underneath the basket.
Yeah, and to Sam's point, Chase, I don't think this is a sustainable lineup, even if Allen's healthy. I just think there's just too many big guys in opposing teams that this wouldn't work against. I mean, like Denver, for instance, I don't think that would work. Or you could pick whatever team.
That's exactly where I was going. This wouldn't work. I don't think it'd work against Milwaukee. I think it'd work against Boston. I don't think it would work very effectively against Philly. If they're going to be anything, I'm anxious to kind of see how that plays out. I think it'd work well against Toronto, but I think, Giannis, I think Milwaukee is going to be a problem if they roll with this lineup. But then it might also spread Milwaukee. I don't know. That's why basketball is amazing. And I like what we got here. Hey, I want to highlight 3 things from this game that I think is worth talking about. And we've kind of touched on them already so far. First off is this is still Donovan Mitchell's team. Without a doubt, number one takeaway, this is still Donovan Mitchell's team. 10 of 27 points in the fourth quarter, and with 27, 6, and 5. This is still Donovan Mitchell's team, without a doubt. If anyone was curious, I don't think they were. But I think it's solidified that, hey, like nothing's going to change from last year. I still give me the ball. I'm going to still take care of it. And I was pretty much still Spider's team. You guys kind of on the same page there?
Yeah. I mean, I think that we saw that real quick here is that Cavs played very well, and they did a nice job for most of the game, but they were down by 6 with a minute and a half left. Well, that's where your superstar comes in on the road, and that's what Donovan Mitchell did, and he took over the game and won the game for him.
The best player on the court matters.
Right. That was it. It was just that's having a superstar.
Yep. Number
100% agree with that.
Yep. Number 2, Sabol. Strus is a baller. Max Strus, who started in place of Jarrett Allen, 27 points, 12 rebounds, just absolute stud, and delivered everything. I mean, he had a pretty hefty, pricing for agency. One of the first signings available. Definitely one of the first one the Cavs got, and delivered all that and more. Strus is going to be a huge help to this team.
110% again. I mean, he's actually, what he's doing so far and what he's going to continue to do is to kind of buck that trend of, well, those Miami players are free agent players aren't the best because they're in the system and they leave Miami heat culture and they don't perform well. And we've talked about this, I think, on the last podcast or the one we did before the media day. There's a lot of truth to that, actually. And we can name the players going back all the way to Damon Jones 20 years ago. But Max is a completely different player than that. And you will see it consistently here. And tonight for a Cavs debut is just outstanding. I mean, the guy can shoot off the screen, off the curl, in the corner. Cavs have, I don't know, when was the last time we had a consistent 3-point shooter like this? Would you say what, Kyle Korver perhaps? His game reminds me of Korver. He's way more athletic, younger, but when he's coming off the screen or coming off anything, I don't know. The way he shoots the ball kind of reminds me of Kyle Korver a little bit. But I was just looking up here. Did you guys see the record he tied tonight?
Mm-mm.
I did not.
Here we go. His 7-3 set a new Cavs record for a player making his Cavaliers debut.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very impressive. It reminded me of, you remember the game in Boston with LeBron where after the trade deadline, we got all those new guys and they just like throttled Boston and LeBron's on the sideline waving his arms. I think that might've been the first game after we got Jordan Clarkson and a few other players, and we just rained threes on them.
Yeah. I do remember that. I do.
That was an impressive collective debut for those players, but this was the most impressive free agency debut I've ever seen in a Cavs uniform.
You know what's funny, John, is somebody yesterday at practice asked Strus if he was familiar with Kyle Korver and watched his game, and Max said, I'm familiar with him. There are some elements of his game that I've studied and kind of took away, but I think I'm a better athlete than Kyle Korver. He said he's probably a better natural shooter, but I think I'm a better athlete than him. And he said, but he's taking some stuff. Watched Redick. I think there's another player, probably Ray Allen, guys that he studied growing up and moving without the ball and getting open and kind of mimicking. So it's funny that you mentioned Korver, because really you think back, it's Korver, who really played a lot. I would say James Jones, who didn't get in the game a lot, but really you're going back 5-6 years at least to find guys who shot the ball like Max Strus is on the Cavs.
Yeah, it's funny, and I would agree with that sentiment. He's way more athletic than Kyle Korver, and Kyle Korver may be that old natural shooter, and Strus just has more to his game. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting to see that. That's the first thing I noticed out of him. And I'll be honest, I didn't watch a lot of him in Miami, just through highlights. I didn't watch a lot of Heat games on my own. But it is his style of play. I cannot stress this enough. Fits so well with the Cavs. And Chase, to your point, they looked at him and they realized with the way with their lineup is set up and the way that they've got Garland and Mitchell, that he could be a consistent a third scorer there, not including Mobley.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I do think he opens things up for Okoro to not feel all the pressure. It's all on him.
But by the way, real quick, did you guys also notice the other record the Cavs broke tonight? We talked about the Strus record there. Did you see at the end of the telecast what they did? Sam, do you notice that?
Haven't won on the road opener in 23 years since 2000.
Yeah, against the Nets.
The Nets, yeah.
And it's funny, I looked up the box score to that game.
It was against the Nets?
It was against the Nets. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I think it was in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry to cut you off there, but I just got to say this real quick.
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
I don't know if you guys saw my tweet. If you did, you'll know the answer to this. The Cavs leading scorer Want to take a guess who that was on October 31st, 2000 when they beat
Wesley Person.
Okay. Chase?
I'm gonna go Z.
Well, both good guesses. Both were on that team, but they were not the leading scorer. The leading scorer was Lamont Murray.
Oh, wow. He got mad
17
because they didn't have his jersey in the team shop.
Did he really?
Yes,
What an
he was
incredible
really
pull.
he was really mad because they didn't have his jersey in the team shop. And he even went on record, like told reporters, how
He
could
had
they not have my jersey?
he had 17 points. Now, to be fair, I think in 2000, the only two players that had jerseys in the Cavs team shop, and I remember this, was Andre Miller and Zydrunas Lukauskis.
Well, Lamont Murray should have been there. So should have Wesley Persons. Anyway,
Underrated
I have
shooter.
a feeling Chase is going to yell at us for getting off topic.
Sorry,
No,
Chase.
that's not
Sorry.
off. That is
Sorry.
not off. No, that is not off topic. That's amazing. That's why people listen to Cavs on the Break. But for John Sabol's random record breaks and for Sam's random like behind the scenes nuggets that he pulls, that's it. That is what people want. That is it. No, not at all. Not at all. My goodness. Incredible debut by Strus. Excited for the rest of the season and how he helps the rest of the team moving forward. Number 3, and this is the last one before we talk about the home opener on Friday. This isn't even in our overreactions or on point segment. This is just a conversation that we need to have. Is it time to be concerned about Evan Mobley?
I would say no. I think that, we can't be concerned with anybody in one game in. I honestly think, I know Chase, I don't want to say you're not a Jared Allen fan, but I don't think you are. But I don't think you dislike Jared Allen. I just think that you have your doubts about him after the playoffs. But I think, okay, go ahead. I'll let you explain it.
Yeah, no, I love Jared Allen, incredible teammate. I just think that his presence on the court limits Mobley's ceiling.
Okay, guess what? You and I have our first disagreement of the season.
Yes.
Because I think that hurt Mobley not having Allen. I really do. Because Mobley has to just exhaust himself defensively because, I mean, if we were watching the game, you saw how the Nets really got a lot of stuff going on down low.
Yeah.
Mobley was really, I mean, if they got past the guard, Mobley was up top basket. Nobody else is stepping in to block a shot.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, and Mobley gave it his all defensively, as he always does, and he gave it his all on the boards. But I mean, he's got people flying in there. Yeah. And so my point is, I don't think that we can judge Mobley, and you're not doing this, but I don't think we can judge him on one kind of sluggish game on the road offensively. I thought he did a nice job in every other area. But I do think having Allen out there helps him. And if not Allen, sometimes maybe try Damian Jones. I just think there's got to be another big occasionally to help him out.
And before I throw to Sabol. So I hear that, Sam, and I hear judgment. I hear that, and I am concerned because Mobley's been touted as someone who shouldn't need an Allen to be a game changer to hit all these benchmarks or averages that they're saying that he's going to hit. Like, I hear everything you say, and it's evident by the game tonight, and I see that, and it is concerning. I hear that saying he needs an Allen, and that is a judgment on this player that's been presented to us the last 3 seasons as, hey, this is a game changer, cornerstone of this franchise that's going to take us to the next level. And dude, a 10-6-2 isn't going to cut it, man.
Yeah, and
I
agree.
JJJ isn't getting that in Memphis or wherever he's at.
No, I agree.
Other defensive stalwarts that were for Defensive Player of the Year, they didn't have an Allen to have their back pocket, right?
Well, I think that you have to surround bigs with other bigs, whether it's a guy who's a big like a Kevin Love. It doesn't have to be necessarily, it could be a stretch 4 or something, but they didn't, because they were limited tonight in their ability to do that so they really played in effect 4 guards. I mean, Max Strus was basically your power forward at 6'4".
Yeah.
I think, and I don't think it has to be a great big, but I think in order to get the most of Mobley, you're going to have to put at least another 6'8", 6'7" guy in there that can help you out.
And you're right. With the smaller lineup, you are going to give up probably the rebounding margin. Sabol, you've just kind of been on the baseline. Like what I did there. Watching this number 3, time to be concerned about Mobley. Where are you at? Are you a little bit concerned, or are you just like, dude, Chase, chill out. It's game 1.
You know, it's funny. I've got a group chat with 2 of my buddies, big Cavs fans, big loyal listeners to Cavs on the Break, by the way.
Oh, shouts to them.
And they both posed the same question tonight in the group chat. So I don't think it's out of the realm of the possibility of being concerned, even though it's game 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I will agree to a certain extent, Chase, that this is something we got to watch.
Yep.
This is something that we need to keep an eye on as the season goes on. I don't think it's a concern now, but I think it could be a concern. And, you know, his ceiling has always been, we've been told what his ceiling was going to be, what it should be. Kevin Garnett, Kevin Durant, or whatever.
Or Anthony Davis. Who said that at Media Day? That was Tristan Thompson.
Yeah. So, you know, he holds his own ceiling, and we expected a jump in his sophomore year, and there was no jump last year in his year 2. The numbers were almost identical. I just need to see more out of his game, and I need to see more shooting. I was kind of bummed to see him in Media Day. He kind of looks the same. He didn't get any bigger, at least in my opinion. I don't think he got bigger. I know he changed his diet. He talked about that at Media Day.
Personal chef.
You know, I think there's a lot of growing. The guy is still so young, though. We can't kill him for that, because, I mean, our bodies were still changing too when we were 22 years old. The guy just turned 22 in June, guys. Let's think about that.
My body is changing now, not in the way that I want it to.
Right. You're going in reverse. So I think without Jared Allen, some things can be exposed, but some things can also shine. And I will agree a little bit to your point about how maybe Jared Allen's presence has actually hurt his development. You've said this before on other pods the last 2 years, and I've disagreed with you immensely. And I still disagree, but I still think, though, I'm not talking both sides out of my mouth here, but I think there is some validity to that to a certain extent. I don't know if it's necessarily what we want to phrase it as. It's hurting his development. I think it's just hurting his production on a given night.
It's limiting his ceiling.
We saw that in the playoffs last year. We saw it towards the end of the year as well. And that comes right down to coaching to find that best spot. And to Sam's point, you need another big in there to help him. And is that going to be his brother at some point? Is that going to be Imani Bates? Is that going to be Tristan Thompson? Or, you know, is it going to be Allen? We'll see.
Yeah. And look, big fan of Allen. If we want Mobley to be who everyone says he is going to be, I don't know if that's going to happen with Allen on the team. And that's just been my opinion for however long. I've been saying that. I think that Allen and Mobley give us the best defensive team in the NBA. We saw that last year. And I think with Strus, I think we're still going to have the best defense in the NBA if Allen and Mobley play together. Like, that's what we get with this. But if we want that, I don't think we're going to see anything more from Evan Mobley than what we have. We were out, 33 minutes, 10, 6, and 2. And from this guy that's, I don't know. That's just where I'm at.
Yeah. You want him to be, and you see the potential for him to be a lot more than 10, 6, and 2 in 33 minutes. So I'm right there with you guys. I think that, I think that obviously it wasn't a great opener for him. And again, I think part of that had to do with the fact that he was playing with 4 guards.
And Claxton isn't a joke. Claxton is not a joke.
No, right. And I think that, I just think that you have to, obviously you got to give him more time, but this year has to be the year where he's more consistent and demands the ball. And once he gets it, does a little bit more with it.
So go ahead, John.
I'm sorry, Chase. Let me jump in on that.
Don't apologize.
To Sam's point, we also, in addition to that, Sam, we need to see a little more anger, a little more hungry. We need to see a little bit more ferocity, if you will. We need a little bit more it just I need a fire to light on.
He need a dog in him. He needs a dog in him.
Get that dog. I don't see the dog in him. I don't. We didn't see it in Jared Allen in the playoffs either. We're not going down that road again.
The lights were too bright.
The lights were definitely way too
so this is why podcasting is amazing, because it's October 25th and I'm saying I'm concerned about Evan Mobley. This is my podcast. John is saying he's almost slightly concerned and Sam's not concerned at all. Is that fair?
I'm not concerned at all yet. I got to see him play a week. If a week
John,
more of this, then I'm concerned.
I'm okay. I'm comfortable and okay with myself by saying I'm slightly concerned. Yes.
Okay.
And again, I got to give credit to my buddies Rick and Justin, who were the ones in my group chat that were bringing this up tonight.
Yeah.
Because I saw it and watching this game. It's like, where's the aggression here? I need some move without the ball a little bit. The problem with that is he's not getting that from Jared Allen because he's the same exact player.
Just another Jared Allen.
I will say this though, and Sam knows this too. And Chase, you do too from Cover Media Day. The Cavs are hoping Tristan Thompson can get that out of him, and he is there.
Yeah.
The Cavs brought him in for a guy who knows the system, wants to be here, knows the organization, but is to help mentor Mobley.
Well, they also said Mobley's going to be averaging a triple-double this season, which made me spend $20 more on him in the auction draft than I wanted to.
Tristan's not afraid to speak his mind either. He will coach you and he will be aggressive about it too. I've seen him in action.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm concerned, and we'll see what happens. Hey, before we go to a break, home openers this Friday. The Cavs play the OKC Cloud Farts Friday night. Sam's going to be there. Sabol, you going to be there?
I will not be there. I'll be trick or treating with my daughter.
Oh, that's Friday. Ours is on Tuesday. Sam, how you feeling about the
No. Actually, no, I take that back. I will not be there. I got my dates. That Halloween date of 2000 just got stuck in my head. Ours is Tuesday. I will not be there because I'll be working Friday Night Football, Friday Night Touchdown on Fox 8 first week of playoffs.
Yeah, gotcha.
Go CBCA. Anyway, go ahead.
There we go. Sam, thoughts on the home opener this Friday, man?
It's going to be tough.
The Rock's going to be rocking.
The Rock will be rocking, and it's going to be tough because obviously the Thunder look to be much improved. Young team with Gilgeous-Alexander and Josh Giddey, and now Chet Holmgren. It's going to be a good matchup. I look forward to seeing that Chet Holmgren Evan Mobley matchup. I think that they're a young team on the rise. You know, they won the GM poll over the Cavs. The Cavs were number 2. The Thunder won the GM poll, the NBA GM questionnaire survey that asked who's the most promising young team. So the Thunder and you know they're very excited there, but I don't think they're as good as the Cavs, and I don't think they can beat them in Cleveland.
This one of the games that intrigues me the most of any team they play. Like, this is such, you like basketball and like all of these young guys, like this, there's no better game in the league than these two teams right here. Cavs versus the Cloud Farts. This is it. And it's Friday night at the Rock. What an incredible, John, do you have a prediction? Sam kind of showed his hand there a little bit.
I just keep giggling here. They you just keep calling them the Cloud Farts.
I refuse to call them,
but it's true
by their name.
Oh, Chase.
And there is a story behind that. There is a story behind that.
Yeah.
It's not just because I feel like being dumb. There is real.
There's real animosity.
Real
Chase
animosity
towards
towards
Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Sam, correct me if I'm wrong, when the Cavs scouted him out of the draft years ago in 2018, Cavs looked at him and he wanted nothing to do with the Cavs. Isn't that correct?
I believe so. I believe that at that point in his career, he was not big on Cleveland. Really the organization at that point.
Yeah. So every time the Cavs play him, I always kind of I root extra hard against him just because of that loaded. You could take a lot of their young bench players and create your own team just off of them. They're so deep. And what does OKC have after this? They have like 3,700 first round draft picks over the next two centuries or something like that. My goodness. It should be a fun game. A lot of offensive scoring, I think you'll see coming up here, the home opener.
Who's going to win?
I've got the Cavs. I'll say, I don't know if there's a line out on that yet, but I think you're at home. I think there's going to be energy. The Thunder typically don't play well in Cleveland, to Sam's point. I think that place is going to be rocking and rolling, and I think they'll be able to pull that out.
I think this will be a really close game. I think it might go into overtime, and I think, I don't know. I want to take Cleveland. I want to take Cleveland, so I'm going to do it. I think Cleveland wins in overtime.
Overtime.
Yeah, Sam. Yeah, close. Overtime. That's just a good team.
Close. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be close. I think it'll be a high scoring game.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to play the world's greatest segment of all time, Overreactions Are On Point. Stick around. Cavs on the break. We'll be right back. I want to take a few moments to tell you about my good friends at EasySigns.com. EasySigns.com is the leader in digitally manufactured signage. Anything you need printed for your home, your yard, your business, or church, EasySigns.com has you covered. EasySigns.com manufactures a large range of digitally printed signage using the latest technology, including large format HP dye printers, as well as latex printers. And if that wasn't enough, they then deliver this product to all their customers all over the United States. They take the expense and the stress out of signage and pass the savings on to the customer. Look, I've experienced this firsthand as they've helped me create an incredible 11x7 stretch tension fabric display for Cavs Media Day. Their customer service was the best, and my display was shipped to me in no time. Even after the display was ripped upon setup, it ripped as I was setting it up. They sent me a brand new display, no questions asked. They were the best. EasySigns.com prides itself in 24-hour production, instant online pricing, competitive pricing, and boast amazing customer service. If you're looking for vinyl banners, feather flags, corrugated plastic signs, table throws, or yard signs, you got to check out EasySigns.com. And because you're on the break with us, because you listen to this podcast, if you use code CavsPod10 at checkout, you'll receive 10% off from our good friends at EasySigns.com. Again, it's CavsPod10 at checkout for 10% off. EasySigns.com, high quality digitally printed signage at low cost.
What's up, everyone? I'm Holly Wetzel.
And I'm Tyrus Powell.
And we are your hosts of The Orange is Oranger, a Cleveland Browns podcast on the Press Play Podcast Network. We give you all the dog pound coverage that you'll need to get you through the regular season, hopeful postseason, and I'd say off-season, Tyrus, but is there really ever an off-season for this team?
Thankfully for our podcast, Holly, there really never is when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. Don't miss our breakdown of each week's matchup, game recaps, and any and all news out of Berea to feed your Browns appetite. As we know, Holly, dogs gotta eat.
Yes, they do. So hit that subscribe button and never miss an episode of the Orange is Oranger, Cleveland Browns podcast on the Press Play Podcast Network.
Looking for new insights on the Cleveland sports scene with a unique side of Cleveland sports history? Then you found the perfect podcast. I'm John Sabol.
And I'm Scott Sabol, and we're hosts of the Sabol Brothers on the Baseline podcast, a podcast about Cleveland sports, but not your typical podcast about the land's sports teams. Join us as we embark on a journey of sharing a unique and historical side of Cleveland sports history with the help of some former Cleveland sports stars and other historical figures.
All right here on the Sabol Brothers on the Baseline podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
The R&R podcast going to be rocking and rolling with you because football season is underway. College, Ohio State, the Power Fives, the MAC, the Browns. Michael Regai, are you ready to rock and roll with some football?
Kenny, I've been ready. This is our time of year. This is what R&R is all about. We're going to be with you every week. Kenny just said it, Browns, NFL, Ohio State centric. So you got to stay with us all fall and winter long here on R&R.
That's right. The Regai and Rhoda podcast coming to you here on the Press Play Podcast Network. Subscribe now and don't miss a show.
Hey, I'm Jason.
And I'm Gary. And we love ball cards.
And if you love ball cards too, good news. You just found your new favorite podcast. From breaks to grading,
And from collecting to flipping, join us on the Ball Card Show.
the sports podcast for the sports collector.
All right, we are back. Cavs on the Break NBA podcast presented by DraftKings. It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Overreactions or On Point. This is where John and I provide Sam with a hot take, and he tells us if it's an overreaction or on point. Sam, your first overreaction or on point hot take is this: we don't need Jarrett Allen, and the Cavs will trade him before the midseason tourney.
Before the midseason tourney at the end of November?
Yeah.
I don't think the Cavs are going to trade Jarrett Allen at all. So I would say that's an overreaction based on a poor showing in the playoffs. I think otherwise he has proven to be a valuable asset to the Cavaliers.
John, comments on Jarrett Allen's Cavs tenure?
No, Chase, I don't think he'll get traded. I just think even, despite the fact that he struggled so bad in the playoffs and was exposed, his presence on this team in the rotation at a consistent rate the last two seasons especially, helped them. I mean, it worked well. I mean, his defense was always there. I think he still complimented Darius Garland, the chemistry they have and some of the pick and pop, and is really well documented. I just think, I don't know if you were to trade him down the road, I don't know who you put in there. I mean, yeah, they have two young guys in Bates and Isaiah Mobley in there, but they're so unproven. I still think he's still an asset. And honestly, I don't know what kind of return you'd even get for him at this point, but that's still a long way away. Trade deadline's not till February this year, but we'll see.
All right. It probably is an overreaction, but I just wanted
to. It's still fun to chat about, right?
Sure. Yeah. All right, John, what you got, man?
Like trying to make me mad. Jesus,
No.
See me get mad.
Never. All right, Sam, get ready for this hot take by Sabol here.
Samuel.
I'm with you. Their question.
Isaac Okoro, we touched on this a little bit, but he started tonight in that small lineup. Phenomenal performance for him. 18 points on 32 minutes. This is going to be a consistent rotational piece in the starting rotation here for Isaac Okoro. On point or overreaction?
So you're asking me if he's going to continue to start?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think that he'll come off the bench. Well, who are you going to start him over, Strus? I think that you can't go that small.
I mean, hell, at this point, Evan Mobley.
You can't do that.
10, 6, and 2.
When you have two guards who are 6'1", you can't play 6'4", and a 7-footer and survive. You just can't. So I liked Okoro. I'm rooting him on like Chase's. I'm hoping for the best, and this was a very promising showing. And you know what? I mean, it doesn't really matter if you start. It's like Chase said earlier. Sometimes you're going to see that lineup maybe close the game. Yeah. Maybe you are wanting to push the pace a little bit more. Well, then you're going to take out Allen and put in Okoro. So I think that, yeah, it's probably an overreaction as far as him being a starter, because frankly, he's not going to start over Allen when Allen's healthy, and he's not going to start over Strus. But the nice thing is he could play like a starter off the bench. And I think that that's a possibility. I really liked about 2 of the 4 games that the Cavs played, really liked what Okoro did and what he showed. And I think tonight wasn't just his best opener, but it was one of his top 5 games as a Cav, because they really needed him to deliver tonight, even offensively, and he did. And I think that it's, this is the year that, okay, maybe this guy is going to have a consistent impact as a rotational piece, as an important rotational piece.
Yeah. Look, as much as I am a fan of Okoro, John, my fantasy team name for the fantasy basketball league, Sam and I are with Chris, Okoro for Prez.
And we're playing.
We're playing each other this week. That's right. Did you set your lineup?
I did.
Okay. Chris texted me, is like, hey, dude, Sam needs to set his lineup. I'm like, hey.
Do I have to do it every day?
Yes. You ever played fantasy basketball?
Not like this. It's usually set it once a week.
You can set it ahead of time. You can set it for the next 3 months.
Okay. I took out Jared Allen. That should have been smart enough.
That was smart. So look, as much as I love Okoro, I understand that, he's not going to start in place of Allen or Mobley. But I also don't think the Cavs are going to trade him. There's been talks about, and Sam has shared that the Cavs have shopped him. So it has happened. But I just think he brings so much value, even off the bench, to do what he did, to have that flexibility. I think it would be really silly for the Cavs to trade Okoro at any point in the season for any asset or, any upgrade. I don't know. I just don't see it happening, Sam or John. I
don't see it happening, Chase, because there's no value. They couldn't trade him because no one wanted him.
I think right now I'll just say, I think that when at the time that they were, and I don't think that they were like super aggressive about it. I think that they were offering him maybe in packages, just like you can always do when you're a general manager. You're going to take calls and listen to calls. I think that was where they stood with Okoro. They weren't like desperately trying to move him, but I think that at least from everything I've heard, but I think that right now is a time, since you didn't move him, to see what you have. And this has to be it. And, you can't. My fear with Okoro is the next game he's going to come out and make zero impact and have 2 points. I hope that's not the case, but that's what he's done over the course of his career when he really needs to put together a good stretch on a consistent basis. But I think it's very important for them because he's going to be their 6th, 7th man, and you need to have a really good 6th or 7th man with Karis LeVert, of course, being the other guy. So those two really have to step up this season. And I have high hopes for Okoro this year, probably more than I have in the past. I think that he could be something that turns out to be special, and he has to. He knows that, because guess what? Now if you're Isaac Okoro, you're looking at it like they went out and got Max Strus. They re-signed Karis LeVert. So if they thought I was so great, they wouldn't have needed to do either of those things. So I had better play well, because I could go back to the bench or sitting on the bench, because they have the Cavs have 2 really nice wing players. And if Okoro doesn't deliver, he's going to be out of the rotation.
Yeah. And they also signed George Niang, which I'll give you a little
go for it. Go for it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
On point or overreaction? I think we know the answer to this, but George Niang at so far the biggest free agent bust the Cavs have had in a while. 0 points tonight in 20 minutes. 0 for 3 from for land of 3. Sam, what say you?
I would say that's a severe overreaction.
It is. Chase and I were joking about that before.
I think he'll be fine. First game on the road, kind of feeling your way and finding your way around. He's going to be fine. Niang is a guy who's going to come in and, provide energy and hit threes. And then, there will be other games where he's not going to contribute much in terms of scoring, but he will spread the floor. You've got to be aware of him if you're defensive player. And then, but there's going to be nights like tonight where he doesn't show up in the box score, just really doesn't make much of a contribution. But there are going to be other nights where, if it's based on his career in Philly, he's going to get hot and he's going to frustrate the other team. And I think that he'll be okay once gets more familiar and the season gets rolling a little more.
Which we're used to that because we had Chetty Osman on the team for years.
He won't be any exactly more inconsistent than Chetty.
Yeah. All right, Sam. Overreaction or on point? Donovan Mitchell will be first team All NBA.
I'm going to say, because I haven't said it yet tonight, I'm going to say on point.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. Let's go.
And I thought that he probably, he's going to play well enough last year to be all first team, All NBA. And
he was second team last year, right?
Right. And I wrote that the Cavs will be better this year than they were last season. Maybe not record-wise, but they will be better. And I think that big reason for that is, Donovan Mitchell is going to continue to do what he did last season. But now that there'll be a better team and more of a force, I think that'll propel him to first team All NBA.
So, John, if that happens, these are the guards that he would have to outplay or have a team do better than Luka Doncic? Well, there could be 2, maybe 3-ish, depending on how they, guard, forward, guard, whatever, however they do it. Right. These are the guards he's trying to. Luka, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the guy that we just talked about, is coming to Cleveland on Friday, right? You have Steph Curry still in the league, right? You have, help me out here, I feel like you have Halliburton. You
Tatum, Jason Tatum. Is he considered a forward? No, he's a guard.
Tatum? No, he's a forward.
He's playing forward this year, I guess, or they're at least listing him as a forward.
You have Dame Lillard,
Steph Curry.
Yep, he's still playing.
Morant.
Yep, John. Well, he won't be eligible because he won't have enough games played.
Oh, that's true.
He's missing 25 games. You are you got to play better than LaMelo Ball, who's supposed to be having. You know what I mean? Not that LaMelo was a first pro, but you just like there's a lot of great guards in the league. Trae Young. Haven't talked about Trae Young. And so, what was that, Sam?
I said Dame.
Yeah, Dame.
Lillard.
Yeah. De'Aaron Fox is up there too.
De'Aaron Fox for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's
Jamal Murray, who is the second best player on the best team in the last 3 years, probably in the NBA.
Well, it's interesting you bring this up, Chase, because think of who beat out Donovan Mitchell for that spot for All NBA team last year was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
And Luka too. Those two took the guard spots. Donovan got all team NBA second team along with Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a year for Donovan to do it, it's this year. I don't think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you can mark it. He's not going to be all NBA first team this year. I don't see him putting up the same amount of numbers in I just don't. He may put up the numbers. I don't think he's going to be good enough to get all NBA team. I don't think he will. I'm hot take right here on.
That is October a hot take. 23rd. I think the Thunder. I almost said their name. Woo! I think that team is going to be really good, and I think he's going to be the best player on that team.
I mean, that's not saying much though. There's a lot of young guys in that team. I think he'll be the best player on that team, but I don't see him winning. You know how hard it is to win all NBA in first team in back-to-back years when you're not the top tier NBA. He's not top tier NBA yet.
Man,
it's hard.
Whoever thought agree?
That he's the best player in the world. They just had the FIBA world like he's the best player in the world.
No, that would be Dennis Schrader or whatever from from Germany because he won the MVP.
He was the best player.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. I don't know, John. That is a hot take.
Am I saying Donovan will take that spot? I don't know either. Maybe he'd have to if you're assuming Luka's going to be there as well.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not. Trust me. Go ahead, Sam.
I was just going to say, whoever thought that we would be having an all NBA first team discussion talking about guards and not even think to mention Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
Well,
I think he won't. For one, he's probably not going to stay healthy to make the new rule and play 64 games or whatever. But yeah, no, it's just interesting to me. That's all.
What I find is very interesting is all NBA first team because in Cavaliers history, there's only been 9 players in NBA. Or 9. It's only happened 9 times. 8
I bet you he's going to name them all. Chase.
Yep. You come on, come on, Sam. You know it. 8 of them were LeBron first team, and the 9th. Sam, you know who it is.
The 9th.
Your boy.
My boy.
Right? Yeah.
Our boy.
Mark Price.
Yeah.
Wow. Don't tell him I had to ask.
You were just on his podcast. Hey, we need to get Mark Price on the break, man. Can you work some Amico magic and get him on here?
He's had me on twice, including once when he couldn't be there, so he needed me to be on. Yes, he'll be on ours.
Wait, Sabol, has he been on the baseline yet?
Yeah, he was our very first guest.
He was.
I was just emailing with Mark the other day too.
Tell him to get on the break with us. Say, hey, Sam's been on the 3-point with you. You've been on the baseline. Get on the break with us.
He would, without question. We could have Mark. We'll have Mark Price whenever we'd like.
Mark would totally do it.
Yeah.
So,
Mark, if you're listening, We need you on the break with us, man. Spread the floor with us. Come on.
He'd be the third best shooter on this podcast.
Look, I think there is validity to this conversation. I think this is a very interesting year. I think if the Cavs finish with like a top 2-3 seed in the East, I think that helps the conversation. I think if we overachieve in the regular season, I think it's going to be hard because the West is going to be hard. The West is going to be brutal. And so I don't think you can have two guards in the West, especially if they're both fighting for the playoff spot, right? If the Mavs or the Cloud Farts are like, trying to make the playoffs and the Cavs are sitting there, the 2 seed, because whatever, you know what I mean? Just if they just overachieve, then I think Sam, I think on point. Donovan Mitchell, first team All NBA, joining that illustrious list of 8-time all team LeBron and Marky Price. I love that. Sabol, you got one, and then we got one more for you. 2 more, Sam.
2 more. All right.
All right, 2 more. But before I do that,
that's an overreaction.
Can I ask Sam a follow-up question for him real quick?
Of course.
All right. Sam, when Mark Price won the NBA All Team first team in 93, who did he beat out? Guess.
93?
Yeah. It would be the 92-93 season.
Kevin Johnson.
Yes.
That's
Kevin
a good
Johnson.
guess. That's
nice
a
job,
good guess.
Chase.
I wouldn't have picked him, Chase. Wow. Chase knows more NBA history than me.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was Larry Johnson. I said Johnson.
Well, you did not just do that to me.
Yeah.
Come on, John.
No. Well, 93. Gosh, was that Isaiah was past his prime a little bit then?
If you can't get it, I'll
just give me a hint.
Yeah. Conference.
One in the West and one in the East.
Well, where he got the Johnson one? You said it was Larry Johnson.
Yeah, but that was for the forward. I thought it was that was my bad.
Oh,
I can tell you who the first teamers were along with Mark Price. It was Jordan, Olajuwon, Malone, and Barkley. That's impressive, boys. That is impressive.
Yeah, that
Think
is
about
impressive.
That is incredible.
NBA second team. Yeah.
So he beat out in 1993 Chris Mullin.
I'll tell you the 4 guards he beat out right now, so we can get this
Tim Hardaway.
Here. Tim Hardaway was third team. He did beat him out. He beat out the late great Drazen Petrovic, who was third team along with Tim Hardaway. Now the 2 guards Mark Price beat out in all NBA second team that season, 92-93, Joe Dumars and John Stockton.
John Stockton.
Gosh, I felt like, Sam, we should have got this. Someone is screaming in their car right now.
I was going to say Dumars. I really was. Dumars had a great year that year, but I was thinking more along the lines like Mitch Richmond, Tim Hardaway.
Yeah,
I forgot about.
I think Hardaway was a little later in the 90s.
The 3 other players there on that NBA all-second team, Larry Johnson, Dominique Wilkins, and Patrick Ewing.
That is some great company. First team All NBA for Mark Price. I mean, that was a really amazing year. And you go back and you look at his career, he's really, truly one of the most underrated players in history. Even Kenny Smith went on when he was on TNT, said, the only guy who could split a double team like Steph Curry was Mark Price.
Yeah, Charles Barkley said the same thing.
Yeah, right. So I mean, he really was. Fortunately and unfortunately, I'm old enough to have seen him in his prime, and really was magnificent.
But LeBron, I think it was last year, like retweeted a video of Mark Price's highlights and tag Mark in it. I think we might have talked about it on that pod, but yeah, if Mark Price played in this genre of the NBA, he would be Steph Curry. That's basically who he would be.
He'd blow up. I mean, if with you're really not being allowed to defend guards too closely now. I mean, the rules have changed. That's not to downplay what the players are doing now, but I'm just saying the rules have changed, and it's made the league much more guard friendly.
So, like,
I think that Mark would really
Tyler Hero, but better.
Yeah, I know. I think,
way better.
Yeah, he was already.
Just trying to put it in context.
Yeah, Tyler Hero's comp, I think, would be Craig Elo.
Yeah, probably somewhere along those lines for sure. Anyway, we better
This is
get
hilarious.
together.
Yeah, 2 more and then we got to go.
All right, on point or overreaction, Sam. Max Strus will be a consistent third scorer for the Cavaliers.
Third scorer, I hope not. I hope he's the fourth, because that will mean Evan Mobley has taken his game up a notch like we're hoping. And as much as I like Max Strus, I think for the Cavs to win a championship and get back into championship contention, Mobley's got to be among your top three scorers. I don't think that they can get into championship contention with Max Strus as a top three scorer, unless the Cavaliers have four guys averaging, more than 18 points, which is a possibility. But I think it's more important that Mobley is your, in the top three with Garland and Mitchell. So I would say that's an overreaction. I think Strus will be probably in the top five scores of the Cavs most games. I think there's going to be games that I've seen, at least they had with Miami. Now, again, go back to John's point that, this lineup may be a little bit more explosive than Miami's was, with Mitchell and Garland around him and Mobley, presumably. So, but I think that there's going to be nights where Max is not hitting shots, and therefore, probably scoring average wise will probably be fourth. I would think will be fourth leading scorer on the team, which, isn't bad, unless, of course, Isaac Okoro continues his rapid pace of 18 points a night every night.
Sam, that was impressive. Able to monologue about Strus's scoring average for a good 3 minutes. That was very well done, man. You are a pro's pro, Sam. Final one, overreaction or on point. The Cavs will go 82-0 this season in the NBA.
I'll say on point. I think that, somebody's bound to do it. So why not Cleveland?
No, here's the real overreaction or on point. The Cavs are the new Eastern Conference Jazz.
I
don't understand what I'm saying there.
Like the Donovan Mitchell Jazz.
Yes. The Quinn Snyder, Mitchell Jazz.
I don't think so. I think that this team's better than those teams talent-wise.
It's deeper too.
It's deeper. Look, those Jazz had nice team with Mitchell, and if you're talking about recent Mitchell and Rudy Gobert and Conley and Bogdanovich, who's in Detroit now, they had a nice run, but I think that this team is deeper. I like the fact that the Cavs, I think Rudy Gobert, when he was in Utah, is probably a top 10 Jazz player ever, which I know both you guys are going to be like, what? But I really do. I think that he made such a difference defensively, but I think the combination of Mobley and Allen have the potential to be better than just Gobert was with the Jazz. So, and that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah,
we could talk about the 10 greatest players in Jazz history and see if Rudy Gobert makes it, but I really do. I think he does in the 8 to 10 range.
What is this? Jazz on the musical bass clef? What are we doing here, Sam? This is Cavs on the break, man. Not
well. I just know a lot of people
have
a problem with that, including Sabol. So I wanted to make sure I really drove home that point.
John, final thoughts. Are the Cavs the Eastern Conference Jazz?
I think they were last year. I think they're just deeper now than any of those other Jazz teams were because of the free agent signings.
I don't think we can say that until they make a run.
Oh, that's fair too. I think until you get to the playoffs, if they're one and done, or if they go to a conference final and they lose, then I guess you can label them that way. But as it sits now, I think through game one of the 23rd
in October,
game one in October here, I don't think they are. I just think I think it boils down to you've got a deeper team, and you have a dynamic point guard in Darius Garland that I think that Donovan Mitchell didn't really consistently have there. Yes, he had Connolly.
Conley is just blah. He is just so bland.
Conley was past his prime. I think was already kind of on that back end of his time.
Conley was past his prime when he entered the league.
Well, Conley was past his prime actually when he went there, because he was already with Memphis for
Sam is so bad. Sam is going to kill me. Yeah.
But
you live in Columbus, and you're talking about an Ohio State guy who's been the ultimate pro.
He really has
consummate point guard.
You're right.
And really very. There's been times he's been, right on the brink of making the All-Star team. The problem with Conley is he's not flashy, and he doesn't he doesn't make the highlights a lot, but he usually makes the right plays. He's a winner. He's just
or
never
make an
been
impact
on
a game.
Right. He's just never been on a team with super duper stars.
Sam, I always said this. Mike Connolly, to me, if he was a car, he'd be a Honda Accord.
Right. Super reliable.
Yeah.
Only a way overpriced Honda Accord.
True.
Well, that does it for the greatest segment of all time, and that is a fact. Sam, John, thanks for playing. Your reactions are on point. And guess what? That does it for this episode of Cavs on the Break NBA podcast presented by DraftKings. Thank you all so much for downloading and listening. Shouts to the Press Play Podcast Network for making this possible. Shouts to DraftKings. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Cavs on the Break. We always follow back. Hey, speaking of DraftKings, if you download that app now and use code P3Cavs to sign up, new customers can take home $200 in bonus bets instantly just for betting $5. That's code P3Cavs only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. The crown is yours. You can follow Sam on Twitter at Amico Hoops. Catch all of his works and writings at hoopswire.com at Wire Hoops. You can follow John on Twitter at John_Sabol and Sabol Brothers on the baseline. Guys, who wins Junkyard Dog Award for this first tip-off episode? We only covered one game. Who gets it?
I think I do. I'm just kidding. I can't pick. I think it was just so much fun that can we all split
you know what? The Cavs did a Junkyard Dog tonight, and it was a joint chain with
there we go.
Max Strus and I believe Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think all three of us are gonna hang it and hold it.
Ooh, I'll take it. I never win because I'm always the one trying to give it to someone else. And we have someone. Shouts to the guy who went through all of our episodes last year. And,
that's right.
And showed us who won the most.
Actually, it was Max Strus and Isaac Okoro who won the Junkyard Dog Award today.
Yeah. So all three of us get it tonight. Looky there, man. Sabol, you can't see it on an audio, but Sabol showing us the picture. Sam, final thoughts. Tip off Cavs victory here in Brooklyn.
No, I really no final thoughts other than, man, I'm really thrilled that this has started again.
Me too.
I'm really thrilled that I'm kind of back on the beat. I'm really thrilled that I'm going to be at two games and two home games and 2 nights this weekend. And I really, really am grateful for everybody who's been following along because traffic's been up on the website, interaction's been up. So I'm just, I got the best gig in the world. So that's my first thought of the season.
John,
I'm thrilled to be back.
I think Sam likes us, John.
I think we're going to be invited back.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
I'm
just trying to get another hot meal at Sabol's house.
Hey, we got to plan another basement pod episode one of these days.
We will. We will. All right, Mike Breen, take us out.
Congratulations, Cleveland. Your decades-long wait is finally over. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.